Most people assume that if you want serious power for a miter saw, you have to be tethered to a wall outlet. But this Makita setup is trying to change that narrative, and honestly, it does a pretty convincing job of it. It runs on two 18-volt batteries, which effectively gives you 36 volts of punch without the annoying cord management. When you first pull the trigger, you notice the motor doesn't just whine. It spins up with a level of authority that feels like a corded tool. That brushless motor is the real star here. Because it doesn't have those old-school carbon brushes to wear down, it stays surprisingly cool even when you are pushing through a long day of framing. What is interesting is how it handles the actual cutting. There is this automatic speed change tech built in that senses the resistance of the wood. If you are hitting a thick piece of lumber, it adjusts the torque on the fly to keep the blade speed consistent. It hits about 4,400 RPM, which is plenty fast for clean, smooth cuts. You can get through hundreds of 2x4s on a single charge, which is impressive, but you do have to keep an eye on those battery levels. If you are working on a massive deck project, you will definitely want a few extra packs on the charger. The build quality feels solid, typical of that classic blue and silver aesthetic. It has a nice weight to it, not so heavy that you dread moving it, but substantial enough that it doesn't feel like a toy. The dual bevel feature is smooth, and the sliding mechanism doesn't have that gritty, cheap resistance you sometimes find on lesser saws. Now, it is not perfect. The laser guide is helpful, but like most of these, it can get a little washed out in direct, bright sunlight, so you might find yourself relying on your own eyes more than the beam. Also, the dust collection is decent, but if you are working in a finished space, you are still going to want a vacuum hooked up to it. It is a bit of an investment, especially if you are already deep into another battery platform, but for someone who needs to move around a job site without hunting for power, this thing is a workhorse. It bridges that gap between portability and raw performance in a way that feels genuinely useful. If you are tired of tripping over cords or dealing with voltage drops on long extension cables, this is probably the upgrade you have been looking for. It is not just a gimmick, it is a serious tool that holds its own.
Check out the video description for updated price. And thank you for watching this video.